What's something that gets an unnecessary amount of hate? Old people doing young people trends. They just want to be a part of the fun. I'm in my 40s. I play Pokemon Go with my 16-year-old son. It's something fun we can do together. We started playing when it first launched. I openly admit that I'm at this game. He is not. Robert Pattinson. Sure, he got famous for the Twilight movies. And no, they're not very good. But all of the weird independent films he's made after that really scream that this poor guy just wants to be appreciated as an actor. One film will change anyone's mind about him. Lighthouse. A masterpiece. That guy can act. Robert Pattinson in the mermaid masturbation scene. Wait, what do you mean I was only supposed to act it out? Tom from Tom and Amp. Jerry, he just wants to chill while that little piece of annoys him all the time. As a kid I always liked Tom, just a hard-working cat trying his best to do his duty. At least with Tom and Amp. Jerry, there's an air of playfulness to it. Then you get Sylvester and Amp. Tweety Bird, where that smug yellow is a big about it. Anything that becomes overrated will stir up a counter-movement of hate. From Skyrim to Neil deGrasse Tyson, the top comment will be adoring said idol, but the most upvoted first reply will be saying it's trash. It's like people feel like they have to correct the 5-star rating by voting 1 star, even though their real opinion is 5 stars. This really annoys me with IMDb. Some people enjoy the movie 10 out of 10. Next thing, a bunch of trolls come with 1-star rating and some story about how it only deserves 5/10, so they are trying to offset the 10s. Like, give the show the rating you think it deserves, don't try to rebalance the average. The word moist. I'm just describing this nice cake I'm eating and you're acting like I'm reciting ancient curses from the Satanic Bible. I'm so confused how half the population just decided they hate that word. Are they just immediately picturing a moist or what? And if so, what's wrong with that? Bandwagon hating on something in general is a huge problem. I try to make a point to have a full explanation of why I dislike something before I go hating on it. Also, I am open to debates and dislike. Ever see the hate content creators on YouTube? Just pick an upcoming release of a game, movie, album, whatever. They will have a 10 minutes and 5 seconds video about how it sucks. The best is when they start spewing nonsense about the company only in it for the money, when they are making videos to maximize ad revenue and obviously couldn't care less about what they are talking about. The problem is content is rated and monetized by how many eyeballs look. If you scream the new Star Wars is a pile of garbage, more people will click your videos. People that agree and disagree. If your title is "The New Star Wars is pretty good," who is going to click on that? So now we have hundreds of videos calling Star Wars bad, and the general consensus is it must be bad, because all these videos tell me it is bad, with a colorful thumbnail with big text, and their face real big looking angry. Everything Reddit decides it doesn't like. Reddit is like getting together all the bullied kids of their generation to uniting bullying others. That explains a lot actually. Being born in this generation because our music. I don't get that. We were born in the generation where we can go to YouTube or Spotify and listen to literally any music since the beginning of recording of music to stuff released literally 5 minutes ago. Being born in this generation is, for music, fantastic. I agree. We can listen to our music as well as any music made before us. This really is the best time to be alive as a music fan. Any media that's particularly popular with teenage girls. I remember when I was 13, 14 and One Direction was just getting big and I got made fun of liking them by actual adults. Like, I know you guys acted the same with NSYNC and Backstreet Boys. Do not come for me and let me enjoy being a teenage girl in peace. Everyone, if you're a human being, there is likely many reasons someone would want you dead and countless more why people would think you are a horrible person. Humanity in general needs to chill. The amount of people that get death threats over things is ridiculous. I agree. Our news comes to mind for the insane amount of death threats in the comments that the mods don't do anything about. Guy Fieri, he seems like a genuinely good person. In 2017 and 2018 he cooked for thousands of victims and first responders affected by the California wildfires. His interview is one of the best episodes and totally changed my opinion on him. Also, he ate all 10 wings without a drink, so that's another level of respect to put on his name. Hating on any version of escapism, be it movies, video games, music, books, etc., makes zero sense to me, as all are purely optional. No one has to partake in any kind of escapism they don't like, so what is the point of hating on a genre of music or certain movies or whatever? It seems like people on that level just want to be mad at something for the sake of being mad. I remember being in college when a friend stated that my enjoyment of video games was a sin because it distracted me from God. I found out later that he was hopped up on a lot of drugs, and the stuff he had taken messed up his head something fierce. Years later when I met him, he had no recollection of college. Honestly, copious drugs is a better excuse for holding such a poor opinion than I was expecting. That one spoon in your kitchen you hate for no reason. For us, it's a 3-pronged fork. I didn't bring it home, and neither did my wife, so we don't even have an origin story. All I know is that whenever I prepare dinner, she gets that fork. That's called a threek. The most celebrated Canadian alt-rock band of the mid-90s, the Barenaked Ladies. People hate BNL. Who hates them? Jeff Winger. Oh, they're BNL now. We need a shorthand for the Barenaked Ladies. That's how fundamental they've become. Vegetables. I eat them regularly since I was a kid, and it just blows my mind that there are people who take eating vegetables as punishment, or they need to learn to like it or cook it because somehow they find it disgusting in raw state. I can't imagine not eating at least one kind of vegetable once a day. I think a lot of the disdain comes from parents who don't know how to cook. I hated a lot of things growing up, but it was because my parents couldn't cook worth. It resulted in me learning how to cook and taking it seriously to right their wrongs. Now I enjoy vegetables. Saying such a picky eater growing up, but having a gray pork chop with no seasoning and microwaved canned corn for dinner and similar terrible things will pretty much make you hate food and hate the fact that eating is a necessity. Weirdly, the things I did like were greens like broccoli and spinach. I still don't eat pork anything. So many bad experiences and I never developed a liking for it. But as an adult, being able to afford nicer restaurants and meeting friends who go to places like that influenced me to try things again and for me to teach myself how to cook. Now I'm open to a lot more things, and I'm really sad that my child self hated eating in general. Basically anything that everyone under the age of 15 is into. The irony is, the plurality of people that hate on it, the thing that they were into at that age was the thing the internet hated at that time in the same way. Fortnite bad, Minecraft good. I remember when Reddit didn't like Minecraft because it was full of cringy preteens, in the exact same way that Fortnite is hated now. I guarantee you, in 5 to 7 years' time, Fortnite will be seen in the same way as Minecraft is seen now. It happened with Minecraft. It happened with Call of Duty. It happened with RuneScape. It happened with Halo. Heck, the likes of World of Warcraft and Dungeons and Dragons always used to be stereotyped as that game that only loser nerds in their mom's basement play. But now anyone and their dog can say they have an account campaign and no one bats an eye. You'd be raked over the coals for admitting that a decade or so ago. This is even more apparent with things young girls like beer. Look, no one is making you drink Bud Light or Coors. You can also choose not to drink if the beer that is provided to you is that bad. I say this as a person who drinks way more than I should and chooses not to drink beer. The way I always looked at it is, I drink both. It just depends on my mission. If I'm drinking more than a few and I'm concerned about price or calories, usually the beers are better in that respect. If I'm having a few, I'll get a 6-pack of fancier stuff. It's even in the Bible. Bring out the good wine first, and then after everyone is merry, bring out the cheap stuff. A lot of media hate, I think, comes from being overhyped and overpromised, and then what we watch doesn't live up to the expectation despite being pretty good. Because some movies are hyped up like they're going to be a genre-defining landmark of cinema, the monument of a generation that'll be talked about for centuries. And what actually comes out is a real fun action-adventure film you thoroughly enjoyed, but not some historic event, and the world hates it because it didn't change their life or change the movie industry forever. NBSP. What I mean is that it's okay if not everything is literally the best movie ever made. You can't use the absolute legends of popular culture as the measuring stick for other media. Pop music. Don't like Taylor Swift? Don't listen to her music. It has literally never, in the entire breadth of human history, been easier to find music that fits your taste. Taylor Swift isn't my cup of tea, but I got given a ticket to one of her shows, and holy moly, what a thrilling spectacle, where every part of the audience got a special segment of the show. So many costume changes, constant energy, and entertaining as it was awesome, and I'm glad I went. I've been to a few of her shows and always words. Even if you're not a fan of her music, she's a great performer, and I can't imagine how anyone could walk away from one of her concerts and be like, yeah, that sucked. She puts on a good show. iPhone Android hatred. Who the F cares what phone other people have? I like my Apple. Why do people have to tell me their Android is superior and my phone is trash when they see that? I used to have an Android. People always used to make fun of me for having one until I switched to an iPhone. Then, I have people making fun of my inferior iPhone. Phone users can't ever win. Be thankful you didn't buy a Windows phone. People who have been in jail, I mean, they already paid for their crime. Can we let them have a regular job and join society again without spitting on them for the rest of their life? We got a new operations manager in the largest of the facilities I cover at work, and he decided to do background checks on all employees. Hired a forklift driver who has been here 7 years because he was a convicted felon. Like, come on, the guy has worked in this place for 7 years, been one of the hardest workers, and what, he's pulling the long con or something? Ridiculous. TBH. Anything that has primarily a following fandom of teenage girls. As a meat eater, I'm going to have to go with vegans. I don't think I will ever be one, personally. I also don't think they deserve as much hate as they get, especially when you consider that all of it is a result of they don't do